Alright, what is up guys? Today you are looking at a very totally different new view here. I'm no longer presenting to you in front of a brick wall. This is because the gym has finally opened, and from today onwards I'm just gonna present inside the office of Elevate Barbell Club. Anyway, in a previous episode of the squat series, we talked a lot about the core control and the optimal position for the lower body. I'm Clinton from Technique Matters, and today what we're gonna focus on for the squats is how do I rack properly for the low bar squats. Okay, you may feel that this topic is not important to you, but don't go away yet, because actually if your low bar squat racking looked like this, it may not be the most optimal and most efficient position. Okay, so basically if your low bar racking looks like that, where your elbows are flat up really high and then your chest is basically facing as high up as possible, so much so that your thoracic is extended, you may not be in the most optimal position for a squat. So we all know that a low bar racking requires us to bring our both shoulder blades together to create a shelving where we will place the bar right on top of it. The misconception is we have to squeeze very hard and tight. The tighter it is, the better it is. Well, this may not be the case, because if you were to squeeze so hard until your thoracic is so extended, what happens is it creates a cause and effect. When you try to squeeze so hard to the extent that your thoracic is too extended, what it encourages is the extension of the lumbar spine as well. So basically, if you put your thoracic in an extended position, it will result in your lumbar to be mimicking the same extension as how you do it for the thoracic spine. So the result is you will get an extended thoracic as well as an extended lumbar. And you know what that means? That means you are basically trying to hyperextend your whole back. So when you're in a hyperextended position, right, you will find a lot of difficulties trying to squat and brace properly, because you won't be able to achieve the ribs down bracing. The reason why this position is achieved, because you guys have the misconception that, oh, I have to squeeze my back super tight so that the bar won't slip. The weight will feel lighter when I unrack it. So this should not be the case. A proper low bar racking should only just be squeezing your shoulder blades together just enough to create a well secure shelving so that you can put the bar on the shelf, and then when you unrack, it's basically sitting nicely. So your hands and the responsibility for the squeezing of the shoulder blades is just to support the bar where you position it. So if you think about the racking in this way, it is much simpler for you to set yourself up, as well as maintaining a good torso angle and spine behavior, so that when you brace, you can create that ribs down and very secure bracing. And then when you squat, right, you will never experience any lower back pain, because if you execute all these one by one and nicely, there won't be any hyperextension of the lower back when you squat, or won't be any loss of power when you squat. So now here comes the how to do it. I highly recommend you to set up in this manner. So what you want to do is to first position your hands and then try to get your spine to be as neutral as possible. Do not try to extend it excessively. And then what you want to do is to bring yourself under. Do not try to elevate your chest up as high as possible. Keep your chest facing regularly downwards. So what you want to do is to get under the bar and then squeeze your shoulder blades little by little until you can feel the shelving and where the bar is placing. Once you achieve that position already, what you want to do is to just engage your lats a little bit, as much as possible, maintain that neutral thoracic spine, and then from there create one good brace, and then step up and bring yourself back into a starting squat position. So basically what you will see is a very nice neutral back and spine, and your chest should be facing downwards. Elbows should not be flaring that high, because naturally what you want to do is to just engage the lats and squeeze your shoulder blades together slightly, and just enough. Once again, I just want to mention it and emphasize it. You want to squeeze just enough to create the shelving and for the bar to be supported safely right there. You do not have to overthink and over excessively squeeze your back. As of now, we have covered what you should or should not do in a low bar racking. Right now, JJ is gonna share with you some exercises which can help you improve your shoulder mobility, so that you can have more confidence when you rack the low bar, and never ever think about excessively trying to squeeze the shoulder blades and bring your elbows up to compensate that doubt when you unrack for the low bar squats.
Alright, so hi guys, my name is JJ. This is the first time I'm interacting with you guys on Technique Matters. So what we're going to do today is pretty simple. We're going to show you, I'm going to show you with the help of Nigel, who's a member at Elevate, how to give yourself more shoulder mobility so that you can actually have a better shelf and better rack for the low bar squat. So one of the things that is very common and a bit overrated in powerlifting would be people doing things like banded external rotations to improve their shoulder mobility. In my opinion, I feel that it's not only is it ineffective, you have to keep doing it, and it also takes a lot of time to actually produce meaningful changes at your shoulder joint. And in that sense, what will happen is your training will be very long and it's not efficient. So what we are showing you here today is basically some exercises that basically focus on where your shoulder blades sit in terms of your rib cage. If you change the shape of your rib cage, you will change the position of your shoulder blades and it will affect down the chain as well. So your shoulder mobility will improve. And when your shoulder mobility improves, you won't have that winging elbow position in your low bar squat, and you won't have to compensate with arching your thoracic spine. So what we have Nigel do is basically do a shoulder internal rotation test, because the low bar squat is an internal rotation bias position for the shoulder. So we'll test his internal rotation, we'll do the drill, and we'll see how his shoulder range of motion is meaningfully changed in about 2 minutes. Alright, so this is what you need. You can use this exercise for your prep, you can use this exercise for in your accessories as well, so you can spend less time doing mobility and more time doing work that actually makes a meaningful difference to your total. Okay, so the first drill we are showing here is basically just a goblet squat hold. We just want him to hold the kettlebell in a goblet squat position. You can use a dumbbell for this as well. And what he's going to do is basically he's just going to bring his shoulder blades apart from each other. Okay, he's going to focus on pushing his sternum back and breathing into his upper back. So it looks like he has a big tortoise shell. So he holds a position, he breathes in here, maybe 3 to 4 full breaths, and you can see that he's very uncomfortable in this position, he's shaking. And then the next drill that we're going to do is we're going to put him in a plank position. We're going to have him to externally rotate his hands and push his elbows into the floor. Same thing, creating that shoulder blades apart and that turtle shell back. And then if you see, after we get him to do these 2 drills, we'll retest his shoulder internal rotation, and you can see how meaningful a difference it makes. Okay, so once you've done this, you can just go straight into a low bar position and train in that position. Give it a try and let us know how it goes. So this is all that we have for you today. If you found that this video is helpful, or if you find that you know someone that might need help with this, with a low bar squat position, share this video with them and we'll catch you next time. Sweet.